We spend our whole lives chasing it, talking about it, wanting more of it. Happiness. But what is it, really? We're not going to get all philosophical here. Instead, we're going straight to the source, deep inside your brain, to look at the biology of joy. Seriously, have you ever stopped to think about what's physically happening when you feel happy? When you get that rush of excitement or that deep sense of contentment? It's a question we all ask, and believe it or not, the answer is surprisingly chemical. That's right, that amazing feeling of well-being. It's basically a custom mixed cocktail of hormones and neurotransmitters firing away inside your head. And you know, the coolest part is that once you learn the recipe, you can get a lot better at mixing your own drinks, so to speak. So let's meet the main characters in this story, the all-star cast of chemicals responsible for how you feel. There are 4 major players, and getting to know them is really the first step to understanding, well, you. First up, we've got dopamine. You can think of this one as the go-getter chemical. It's what gets you off the couch. It's that incredible surge you feel when you finally cross something off your to-do list or hit a goal you've been working on for weeks. That's dopamine. And here's a super important thing to know about dopamine. It's not really about the pleasure of getting the prize. It's about the thrill of the chase. It's your brain giving you a little neurological high five that says, yeah, keep going, you got this. Okay, next in our lineup is serotonin. Now, if dopamine is that exciting burst of I did it, serotonin is more like that quiet, confident feeling that everything's okay. It's less about the high-energy pursuit and more about a steady, stable sense of well-being. And just look at how much this one chemical does. It's involved in everything from balancing your mood and keeping anxiety in check to boosting your self-esteem and even helping you sleep. It's truly the foundation for that feeling of long-term contentment. Our third happiness hormone is oxytocin, and you've probably heard its nickname, the love hormone or the cuddle chemical. This is what gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling of connection. It's released when you hug someone you care about, play with your pets, or just share a great moment with a friend. It's the chemical glue of our relationships. And this really gets to the core of who we are as humans, doesn't it? We're social creatures through and through. Oxytocin is basically our brain's built-in reward system for connecting with each other, reminding us that we're happier when we're together. And last but not least, let's talk about endorphins. These are your body's personal, all-natural painkillers. You know that incredible euphoric feeling you get after a really tough workout, the famous runner's high? That's a rush of endorphins, creating this amazing wave of good feelings to help you push through physical stress. And the best part is, you don't have to run a marathon to get a hit of endorphins. Something as simple as having a really good deep belly laugh with your friends can do it. Or, get this, even eating some spicy food can trigger a release. How cool is that? All right, so we've met our chemical dream team. But where in the brain does all this magic actually happen? Let's pull back the curtain and take a quick tour of the brain's emotional control room. So what we're looking at here isn't just a jumble of tissue. It's an incredibly complex and interconnected network. And scientists have been able to zoom in on a few key areas that are absolutely critical to how we experience happiness. First up is the prefrontal cortex. Think of this as the CEO of your brain. It's in charge of planning, making decisions, and keeping your emotions in check. And what's really fascinating is that studies show more activity right here is directly tied to a greater sense of overall well-being. It's like the biological signature of a happy mind. And then we have the ventral striatum. This is basically the brain's pleasure center. It's ground zero for dopamine. When you do something rewarding, this is the area that lights up like a Christmas tree. And as you can see, that spike in activity lines up perfectly with when we report feeling good. So, we've talked about the good guys, right? The chemicals that make us feel great. But you know, every good story needs a little bit of conflict. A villain, maybe? So, let's introduce a character you think you know, but who has a pretty surprising secret. Ah, yes, cortisol. We've all heard of this one. It's the stress hormone. The one that floods our system when we're in fight or flight mode. It's the reason we feel frazzled and anxious when we're under constant pressure. It sounds like the public enemy number 1 of happiness. Or is it? And here's the twist. It turns out cortisol isn't the bad guy we've made it out to be. The real secret is all about timing and dosage. In small, manageable doses, cortisol is actually essential. It helps motivate us, gives us energy, and even helps us become more resilient. This chart just lays it out perfectly. It's like a Jekyll and Hyde situation. On the one hand, a short burst of cortisol, say before a big presentation, sharpens your focus and gets you ready to perform. But when that stress never goes away, that same chemical starts to tear you down, causing anxiety, wrecking your sleep, and even tanking your serotonin levels. This is the absolute best way to think about it. A little bit of manageable stress is like taking your brain to the gym. It puts your emotional systems under a bit of strain, you push through it, and then you recover. And that process, that cycle, is exactly what builds emotional muscle and makes you stronger for the next challenge. Okay, so we've met the chemicals, we've seen where they work in the brain, and we've even cleared the name of a misunderstood hormone. Now for the really important part. What do we do with all this information? How do we take the director's chair in our own lives? This is your practical toolkit. And look how simple these things are. Getting some sun directly boosts serotonin. Going for a run releases endorphins. Calling a friend gives you that oxytocin warmth. Setting and hitting a small goal fires up your dopamine. These aren't just feel-good platitudes. They are scientifically backed ways to actively manage your own brain chemistry. You know, at the end of the day, understanding the science behind happiness is incredibly empowering. It shows us that feeling good isn't just some random magical thing that happens to us. It's a biological process. And while we can't always control what happens around us, we can absolutely take small, deliberate steps to influence the chemistry within us. So the only question left is, how are you going to direct your show?